Oh, hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to the YouTube channel. Today is one of those days where I am just working and working and working, and the weather hasn't been so good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a trip today, on this video trip, where I'm going to show you where it is that we're going. So what we've done is we've broken up our trip into legs of trips, 3 months each, so that I can be able to take breaks. This will be for the trip that we're having across Africa. So we'll do 3 countries in batches. I take 2-3 weeks, to come back, check on the kids if I'm not traveling with them, and just to check on the business and to do work and just to be in Joburg and make sure everything is fine. And then I hit another leg of the trip. So basically we wanted to do about 14 countries, and today I'm going to take you through the first 3 countries that we're going to do and what activities we're going to do, where we want to stay, the costs, and yeah, the expenses that are going to be involved in that trip. And that's why you see that this year is so important for us, because we're absolutely getting ready for that trip. And the biggest thing is, when you're traveling with kids, you cannot take anything for granted. You cannot afford to make stupid mistakes. So I'm going to try and be as intensive in my preparations as I can. Please watch the videos before so that you can get to have an idea of where we're coming from, where we started with our caravan build, the vehicle that we're going to be using, what it actually looks like, and where we are today. But today, let me walk you through that and show you the plan of the first leg of the trip. So stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't. Okay, so hi guys. Okay, so the first leg of our trip is going to be into Namibia, and we're going to do about 20 to 22 days in and around Namibia doing all the activities. I'm quite excited that this is where we're going to start our trip. So what we wanted to do was basically from day one. It's driving from Johannesburg to Uppington. It's a border town, or a rest stop there. That's going to be about 850 kilometers, and it'll take us 10 to 11 hours drive with the caravan, doing it about 100 kilometers an hour. Day two, we'll cross over the Nakop border, and go to what's called Kitmanshoop. I hope I'm saying these correctly, which is about 250 kilometers. And then there we will sit camp at a place called Quivertree. What I wanted to do for this trip is, instead of hopping from one camping trip to another, from the experience that we had at the church camp, it takes quite a lot to set up camp and to break camp. So the plan is to go into one place, set up camp for a couple of days, and then use that as a base camp to be able to go out and do all the different activities. So that's quite important that we do that. And then on day three to day five, we'll be in Quiver Tree, just relaxing and soaking in Namibia. And there are quite a few activities that can be done in this place. So we're quite looking forward to that. And then we will drive from Kitmanshoop to Cesarium and do another few days in Cesarium. And then from there, we will do Walvis Bay, which we're going to spend quite a few days in Walvis Bay, maybe 4 days or so, or 5 nights rather, in Walvis Bay. There is quite a lot to do there. It's an amazing town. It's by the water. So we're going to be able to see flamingos. We're going to be able to have cafes, kayaking, um, and cruises on the ocean, or rather boating on the ocean. So it's quite a nice place to spend a couple of days, and just to enjoy that. And then from Walvis Bay, the next leg of the trip that we want to do is we want to go to Etosha. Uh, so Etosha is about 650 kilometers from Walvis Bay, and that's about 8 to 9 hours. Etosha is going to be the highlight of the trip. One thing that we were considering is, Africa um, has got similar looking um, national parks, if I can put it that way. Similar in the sense that the animals are the same, but it's different experiences. So, what we wanted to do, while we're spending quite a bit of time in Namibia, is to really spend a lot of time on safari and just being out in the wild with animals. So in Etosha, we're going to be able to, do the spend time watching the big five, doing game drives and that sort of thing, so that when we do go to other countries, we can actually experience other things that are going to be not totally different, but something else that's a bit different in other countries, where you don't get to spend so much time in the wild or just focusing on animals. Yes, we'll do game drives, different game drives in different countries, but we really wanted to spend time, like I said, in Etosha or in Namibia, really enjoying the game drives there. And then from there, we're going to go to Tsumkwe. Tsumkwe is near a border town, because at this point, or at this part of the trip, we want to head out and go into Botswana. So this will be the end of our trip, and we're literally on our way out. So if you look at the Namibia, I mean, there are a lot of cultural highlights. Um, you know, there's a lot to do. Namibia has got one of the most oldest inhabited regions on Earth, and the sun used, quiver trees for tools. The Nama were pastoralists, so we're going to be able to, really enjoy and experience the culture, and just being in this area is going to be absolutely amazing, and we're super excited. I've put up a little bit of images of what it is that we're going to expect, so just watch these, highlights, and get excited with us. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because we want to take you on our trips. We want to trip for you, so enjoy, so that you can also enjoy what we have in mind to do at the end of the year. So let's go back to one thing that's absolutely important: costs. What are the costs? What are we talking about? So to be able to do a trip like this, or a trip per country, what we've realized is going to cost us about 40,000 rand, which is about, let's put it to be safe, or just to give you an idea, not quite the exact amount, we're talking about 2,500 to $3,000 per country. It doesn't look like a lot when we're talking of, all the things that we want to do. And I just don't want to go to these places and sit in camp. I want to experience these places, and create memories for the kids. It is a lot of money when you are in Africa. It's a lot of money. It's not easy to just come up with that kind of money when you're in a place like Africa. So $3,000 might not seem a lot, but it is quite a lot. That's why I built the caravan. That's why I built it the way, we built it, so that we don't spend as much in hotels. Because to even go to a place like this, to even think of doing something like this, if you're going to live in hotels, it will cost you over 200,000 per country if you're, doing it on the high end. But I can't backpack. I hate staying in Airbnbs. I'm one of those neat freaks that needs to sleep in my own bed, and things like that. So the caravan renovation was a very practical way for us to be able to see these places. So basically our budget will be about 40,000 rand. And believe me, guys, I'm going to keep it very tight. Our biggest expense is obviously going to be on fuel, the campgrounds, the park fees, and the activities and the cultural experiences. But we're going to make sure that we keep this budget very tight. And between now and December, I haven't even started, because there's still so much to do, so much to fix. It's a matter of just trying to save this money for each country. That's why I want to do this in legs, where you can do three countries. If the funds are not allowing, then you pause, then you do another three countries. But the plan is just to do this whole trip, one leg after the other. But well, that's part of the plan. So watch a little bit of highlights, and then I'll be back. And then we'll go through what it is, our we'll go on to the next one, which is going to be our Botswana trip, because after this, it then becomes Botswana. But before I do that, let me just show you a little bit of the map. This is where we are now in Johannesburg. This will be Uppington, and then all the way into Botswana and all the way to the border. So, one thing about me, if you know me, I hate driving back and I hate driving in circles. I love to go straight if I can. So, I'm trying to make this as easy as it is on me and on my eye and on my personality, that we keep going forward, we keep moving forward, and we never get to go back. Or backtrack on a route. So yeah, so this is the end of part one of this video. This is Namibia, and keep tuned. I'm going to take you through the Botswana leg of the trip. Hey guys, okay, so the second leg of the trip will be Botswana. So this will be country number two. Remember, we want to go to at least 14 countries. I will do another video like this for the second leg of the trip so that you've got an idea of where we want to go. And this should also help people that are planning to travel or to overland, like us. But anyway, uh, don't mind the pictures. I didn't get a chance to be able to change the pictures and make them all about Botswana. So don't mind the pictures on the presentation. So anyway, the second country is Botswana, like I said, and we are going to get into Botswana using the border that is near to Tsumkwe. And then from there, we're going to get to Maun. I'm quite excited about going there because this is where the Okavango Delta is, and I have always, always had this on my bucket list, on what to do. It's a funny story. I went to a show. It was actually a comedy show, and there was a funny joke that was said there, and it had to do with Okavango Delta. And from there, I was like hooked. I was like, I'm in. I want to do Okavango Delta. I want to enjoy that. And so we're going to spend a few days there. The days in total for our Namibia leg of the trip is going to be about 11 days, which 5 of those days will be in Maun, Okavango Delta, and we're going to do things like walking safari. There's Moremi Game Reserve, where we can spend a day, but most of it is going to be spent in Okavango Delta. Well, that is part of the plan. There's water safari, there's scenic flights if we can afford to do it. It would be something that I want to do. And then the next thing would be Mahadi Hadi salt pans. Um, on my last solocation, I went to Victoria Falls. It was absolutely enjoyable, and on that solocation, I we were as we were flying over Makadi Kadi Pans. I was like, I need to come here. I need to experience this place. It looked so amazing, and it's a place that was created. There used to be an ocean, or sorry, or actually a sea, or a big lake there, and it dried up, and now there's this salt pan that cannot really be explained. So I just want to go to that place and just to enjoy it, and just to camp in a place like this and do a lot of safari as well, in this space, and meet the San people of Botswana. We're also going to be able to do that. And then once we're done with Makadi Kadi salt pans, just to give you a trip overview of that, or a cost overview of that, it's going to also cost us, about 32 to 40,000 rand as well, which is your 2.5 US dollars to $3,000. Um, But what to expect in a place like this is it's just raw beauty. It's untouched. It's safari on next level. Just being in Botswana, I mean, it's got one of the biggest herds of elephants that are found in the world. They can be found in Botswana. So this is a place where you just want to go, put your feet up. The Swanas are absolutely amazing people. It's not as highly populated, low population, amazing people. It's just going to be epic. So you have to have Botswana on a trip like this. So the next leg of this is going to be Zimbabwe, which is my backyard. Which, like, when we talk about my backyard, I am Zimbabwean, so this is going to be like going back home, and it's important that I do this. But before I do that, this is going to be like on a map where we're going to enter uh, into Botswana from Namibia, which is here. Then we enter into Botswana, and then we go into Maun, and then from Maun we're going to exit through the if I Kazungula border post. This border post is very interesting because it's got three countries. It borders Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Zambia. But we're going to get into Zimbabwe from there, and let me get into the next slides and show you our Zimbabwe part of the trip. Okay, guys, so the next leg of the trip will be into Zimbabwe. This is very, very sentimental because we are from Zimbabwe. And when you've had kids outside your own country, they don't really get to enjoy or experience their own country. That's why this part of the trip is absolutely sentimental, in every way. So we're going to spend about 11 days in Zimbabwe, and we're going to be on the western side of the country, spending about 5 days in Victoria Falls, and there's a lot to do there. Exploring the falls, the rainforest there. There is whitewater rafting. There is absolutely amazing sunset cruises with dinner. Um, and yeah, just a lot to do, and I cannot wait, to show the boys that part of the country. And then also from there we're going to drive to what is called Mlibizi, which is on the tip of the Kariba Dam. What I want to try and do is, the roads there are quite bad. I don't want to drive the rig through a very remote place, which is a short way, or I'd have to drive almost 2,000 kilometers into the country to go back to Kariba. So, what I want to do is, we want to take a ferry across the lake. This usually is a day trip. It's absolutely stunning. It'll give us the time to relax and just to see, but it is quite pricey because we're literally going to pay for the kids and myself, and we're also going to pay for the caravan and the uh, uh, and the and the car separately. So it's going to be quite pricey, but it will save us in terms of the damage to the cars, to the rig, and the time that will take us to get to this part of the country. And then we're going to spend about 2 days in Kariba, where they'll see the iconic Kariba Dam. We'll be able to go to, crocodile farms. Hopefully, we can get to do a bit of fishing there, and also to be able to see how they, make one of the delicacies, which is called matemba. That's where, they're farmed from, or caught rather, because they're small little fishes, fish like anchovies. And then from there, we're going to go to Mana Pools. Mana Pools is absolutely stunning. It's one of those places that is untouched. I've never been to this place or this area of Zimbabwe, so it's going to be a first for me. So I'm really quite excited about that. And we're also going to go to what's called Mashumbi Pools, also part in the north of Zimbabwe. I've never ever been there, even though I really traveled quite well. When I used to stay in Zimbabwe, I went, I'd holiday every now and then. So I know most of the major sites, but I'd love to, like I said, share these experiences with the kids. So the cost of being in Zimbabwe, because of all these things, and keeping in mind Zimbabwe is US dollar based, the price is going to be quite expensive, or the costs are going to be quite expensive. So we'll see. We'll just obviously try and manage it. Like I said, my aim is to keep it on 30,000 per country. And if there's any money left over, then we can always roll it into the other country, but not skimping off doing stuff, because the whole point is to get out there and experience these countries and do stuff. But obviously at a budget. Um, so, I mean, this is one of the reasons why we started the YouTube channel. We're hoping that by the time that we get to travel, you know, we will be getting some sort of payouts from YouTube that will help us to put money towards the trip. So that's why we keep asking you to subscribe. That is really, really going to help us a lot. And then this is the map of Zimbabwe. Here, where you see that there's this long stretch between Mlibizi and Kariba, we're going to be on the lake, which you see that lake. We're going to just be on the lake. We're not going to drive, but there was no way I could put this on the map. So we're going to be on the lake. And then from the lake, we're going to go and park the car or park the rig at my mom's house in. Um, in Harare, and leave it there and then bring the boys back. We're literally going to fly back into South Africa and get the boys started in school, get the new year going for 2027. And then the plan is for me to fly back to Harare, pick up my rig, and then move into my next part of the journey, which should be Zambia, into Tanzania and into Rwanda, and then, leaving the rig there and then coming back and going up and down. So that is part of the plan. Uh, I am hopeful. I'm praying that we're going to succeed. And this has been in the works for a very long time. So it's going to get done. We are going to do that first leg of the trip, second leg, third leg. There's about 4 or 5 legs to this trip, until we get back into Johannesburg. So, yeah, so that's the plan. If you're planning to overland, I'm going to put this itinerary on I'm going to put the links in the video description, so you can have access to the links and to the maps, just to see what it is that we've planned, and it'll also help you to plan your trip. So thank you so much, guys, for subscribing. If you haven't, please subscribe. This is really, 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 really going to help us, and I will see you in the next video. I hope this was of value, but I trust that it is, especially for those overlanders. Have a nice, nice one.